Hey everybody, Dave Sheehan here from Connect. Super excited. Our next episode, I'll be speaking with Luke Cook from both Funlocka and also Cuppa of Life. Now, it's going to be kind of interesting. Some of you guys have already tapped into the Cuppa of Life webinar series from our CP event. So we'll be speaking more to Luke about what's coming up. So stay tuned.
Okay, because we're going to be talking about all things in the medial compartment, we're talking about treating them effectively and also safely. So we're going to move up the chain away from the soleus, working in the deep compartment of tibialis posterior and flexor dig. Really important muscle. Obviously biomechanically, it helps control the foot in the toe-off phase when we're running, so it is important. But it's one of those deep muscles, and it's one of those muscles obviously trying to get access to is difficult in some clients. So I'm going to show you the way that I go about it, once again effectively and safely. So it is so important that it's comfortable for you, but it's also comfortable for your clients as well. So here we go about it. So as in every area that I address, we're obviously going to use some really broad stroking just to get the area used to the contact for a start. The bony anatomy that we need to be mindful of is our tibia here. So obviously everything that we do will be on the medial surface of that. So we're moving away from that tibia. Now, the trigger points for tibialis posterior and for flexor dig are clustered together in this region up in this area here, okay? So once again, it's a cluster area, so we can actually treat this area quite effectively all in one. So this is how we go about it. So we've prepared the area, going to come in with that broad forearm again, okay, making sure that you're not putting any pressure whatsoever onto the bone or the tibia itself. You can bring the foot just slightly off the table like so, okay, and then I can just slowly and softly sink into the tissue, okay? Now straight away you're going to get feedback from your client depending on how tight they are and also how sensitive it is in this area. So if they haven't had work in this area, you have to go slow, okay? So for today I'm working through for James, and he's not used to a lot of deep pressure through this area, so we've got to be mindful of him. So the first area I come up to is probably in and around that flexor dig. Once again, I'm sinking in there, slightly pushing the gastro out of the way, and then pushing in towards more medially, just into that little septum there. And you can probably feel that. James, is that comfortable? Too much?
Yeah, that's good.
No?
That's
Okay,
good.
that's good. So it is important that you check with them, okay? It absolutely 100%. All right, now that we're in that area, what I like to do is obviously sit, and then we can just slowly move the foot up and down. And I'm just engaging the tissue, and it doesn't need to be huge movements. It's just small movements while we work the tissue itself. And then you'll finally feel, you just be able to sink in that little bit more, that little bit more. The area will start to disperse. They may get a referral down their leg into their foot. May refer up sometimes, believe it or not. It's different for different people. Okay, that moves out, and then I can just move up a little bit further. And then I can sink into that tissue, and now I'm into tib post now. And I can sit here all day because I'm comfortable. There's no pressure on my shoulder, no pressure on my elbows. I'm not using my hands. Very safe, very effective. And then I'm just waiting for the tissue just to disperse. It's quite simple, you get used to it. There it is, that's it, that's good. Just move a little bit more. And then we come out the same way we go in, okay? Nice and softly, like so. All right, guys, so that's flexor dig and tibialis posterior.
Hi, my name is Ruth Werner, and I am the author of A Massage Therapist's Guide to Pathology. And I have had wonderful times presenting this year for the Massage and Myotherapy Australia Association. And now I get to come back to visit for the conference on May 23rd. I'll be there with some of my very best friends. And my time with you will be spent on the intersection between what we understand now about massage therapy in the context of chronic pain. It's going to be a great time together, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Hi everyone, it's Dave Sheehan here from the Connect Show. I'm very excited to have Luke Cook on board from Funlocka and also Cuppa of Life. Welcome, Luke.
Hello, Dave. How are you? Very good
I'm
to be
going
here.
well. Now listen, just before we start really quickly, from a previous life before I was in sort of the massage myo industry, when I was in my 20s, back in the early 90s, I think before computers came along, I used to import a kit called the Arbery kit from the States, which was adventure-based resource index system. And we used to sell that to corporations to develop experiential sort of experiences with staff and that sort of thing. So when I started scoping out what first Funlocka is all about, and now we're going to talk a little bit more about Cuppa of Life, I was getting flashbacks to the good old early 90s before computers were ever invented, I think. And we actually used a card file system with, over 1,200 activities it was. It was amazing, yeah.
Well, I love that, because my first ever job, Dave, when I got into media was I was Lightning Luke on the streets of Sydney, handing out free cans of Coke and doing live crosses on the radio.
There you go.
And then I worked in the promotions and sponsorships field of media and advertising, coming up with ideas and solutions for companies. And it's funny how you fast forward 20 years and then all of a sudden I'm doing the same thing that I was doing at the start, and that was just about making people happy. And activities and community and engagement and events and all experiences, no matter if it's virtual or in person, can really have a major impact on a person's motivations, etc. So, yeah, love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as mentioned earlier, we've already had a taste of the sort of the webinar, I guess we'd call it a webinar series that was up previously on our website. And in fact, one of our directors, Stacey from Queensland, commented on it. I think it's a Reimagine series, right?
Yeah, it was a Reimagine series. So over 4 weeks, we help people reimagine how they think. With Lane Beachley, reimagine how they listen with Oscar Trimboli, reimagine how you communicate with Nicole Hatherley, and then finally finish it off with reimagine your own brand with Maz Speaks. And the series was designed to kick people off into 2021. Last year was a pretty full-on year, and we've all had to reimagine how we engage with our consumers, how we engage internally with our staff in a hybrid type of model that is evolving. So we thought the series was very timely, and we're so glad to have you guys on board to be able to promote it to all your wonderful clients out there.
And many thanks for, I think you're offering discounts as well for that. Now, is that series still available, or do we now have to wait for the next series coming out?
Yeah, so Reimagine is now finished, but we literally had a debrief with all the talent the other day. It was an amazing debrief, and there is a thought of rolling it out again or capturing the current series and offering it up as an e-learning solution for people, individuals. So, yeah, not there yet, but we will bring Reimagine back shortly.
Okay, so moving forward, there is confirmation that you've got this new series coming up, which would be ideal for members to sort of tap into, which is diversity and inclusion. So did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, just quickly, I think no matter where you turn right now, in the newspapers or whatever, there is some sort of diversity and inclusion agenda happening. And it is now that we believe that it is important for us to have honest and vulnerable conversations in this space, whether it's around gender, sexuality, disability, or most importantly, cultures as well. So we didn't know that the world would be full of these conversations when we first thought about this series, but I think we've timed the series perfectly because it is an important time for us to do it. So like Reimagine, it runs over 4 weeks. Each week we highlight a different topic area. So the first one's around disability. The next one is around cultures, and then sexuality and gender. And then in our final week, we have a panel discussion which helps businesses understand, and their employees, how we can move forward together as a society. And I'm going to be truly honest here with you, Dave. Like when I first launched Cuppa of Life 12 months ago, I took a very helicopter view on a number of different conversations in the diversity space, whether it be disability or our Indigenous community, etc. But since we've opened up our Cuppa of Life doors to such incredible storytellers and guests, I've learned so much myself. And in what I should say, or things that I've probably been too afraid to ask, like, do you go up to a handicapped person or someone in a wheelchair in a shopping centre and ask if they need help, or do you wait for them to ask? You know, those little moments where you have that awkwardness because you don't know how to tackle a conversation or a situation, that's what we're trying to solve with this series.
All right, brilliant. And for more information about the series coming up, where should people head to?
Yeah, so if they go to Cuppa of Life, Lunch and Learn, so just go to cuppaoflife.com/lunch and learn. We do have a discount there as well. I think the discount code is M&M. So for massage and myotherapy. So if you want to do M&M on the coupon code, then you'll get a 20% discount on it as well.
All right, brilliant. And Luke, I think also up on our website, there'll be some information going up there. And as normal for members, we can you'll be able to get some more information via our email blasts and through the journal, I think, as well. So,
and also on the social channels, I saw that was posted the other day as well.
Yeah, which is brilliant. All right, Luke, once again, thanks so much for coming along today to have a quick chat to people. So again, the next series coming up is Diversity and Inclusion, Cuppa of Life. We've been speaking with Luke Cook. Thanks again, Luke, and everyone else, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, mate. See you.